Hey everyone, I'm Robert Curtis from Distance Calculus at Roger Williams University. In this video I'm going to talk about the honors program that we have here at Distance Calculus, and I want to talk about how our honors program differs from traditional honors programs. Now, some universities do offer honors courses for their calculus sequence, usually just in the first year. We offer our honors courses in the first and the second year courses. And I want to describe how ours are different than traditional courses, other than distance calculus being non-traditional completely from regular university classroom courses. So in our DC honors courses, I'm just going to set up a little table here. And then over here I'm going to put traditional honors courses. And in the traditional honors courses, usually they go faster. That's one of the big hallmarks of a traditional honors course, is that for honors students, the regular course goes too slowly. And that bores students who are B and A grade students. Now, faster, I don't know if that's really a good characterization of what makes an honors student really an honors student, right? Just because the lectures are accelerated and the number of topics that are covered in the lectures is accelerated, that seems, I don't know, kind of strange to me. Does the professor talk faster, or do they just spend less time in the classroom on topics and expect the honors student to kind of make it up and do extra stuff on their own? But that's a traditional course. Traditional courses are usually faster and more topics. And usually the more topics comes from the next course, right? So if Calculus 1 is like this long, then the honors course goes this far. But where does this far come from? Well, it usually comes from Calculus 2. They just go further into Calculus 2, which, you know, okay, so that's what they do, because that's what they have in their textbook, that they kind of only can do what's in their textbook. And that's fine. It's the traditional way that honors courses are done. Now, in the distance calculus honors program, we just don't go faster because there's no sense of fast, right? You have a year to complete your course, and it's not like the video lectures that I give go any faster, right? That's not an issue because we don't have that problem where we're meeting in a fixed synchronous classroom and I have to cover a certain number of topics in that allotted time. In the asynchronous world, this really isn't an issue. So we aren't faster necessarily. And more topics, well, let's say deeper topics. Deeper and more breadth of topics. So in Calculus 1, we don't jump into Calculus 2 topics. We bring in more topics that are relevant to Calculus 1 and allow the student to have a deeper experience. Now, in regular calculus, which is challenging enough, right, that there's a certain expectation that you can't just do, 20 assignments where you really only have time for 10. And the difficulty level of those 20 assignments has to be reasonable for Calculus 1. And in honors calculus, we're able to go a little bit further. So often in the traditional honors courses, there is an increased difficulty level. And that certainly is the case here in our honors courses, is that the difficulty level is increased a notch. Not 2 notches, not 3 notches, not 5 notches, just 1, right? A reasonable amount for an honors course. So we're not going faster. We do not do more topics out of the next course, but we do an investigation that is deeper into Calculus 1, the topics of Calculus 1. The difficulty level is increased So the kinds of problems that we engage, their difficulty level is the next notch higher. And then the big difference is that in the traditional courses, they usually do proofs. Proofs, the way you describe this in mathematics is that you say you do a rigorous development of calculus. Rigorous, you develop the real numbers, you develop the axiomatic approach to calculus. Now, that used to be what you had to do before computers, because basically, calculus is sort of the first course, and then the junior or senior level calculus course is called real analysis. So they would bring the ideas of real analysis down into calculus and develop a very proof-centered course, a very rigorous course. And that's a great course. Don't get me wrong. Those are very fine courses if that's what's of interest to you. So if you are a math major, you're driven by the axiomatic approach to mathematics, you want to become a mathematician, then these are fine courses to do. And they don't do proofs to the point where you're doing a real analysis course, but they do more proofs, whereas when you're in the regular calculus course, you probably won't do any proofs because it's a little too hard to do. So this is the increase in difficulty usually in a traditional honors calculus course. We do not do proofs. We are simply not adding proofs to our curriculum to make it harder. The reason? Well, we are doing a computer-based reform curriculum, and proofs are kind of foreign to that, right? We're doing lots of experiments. We're doing graphical experiments, numerical experiments, algebraic experiments, where we run experiments using the computer to see what is coming out, being empirical about the study of calculus. And so then to jump over and say, well, how do we prove this? Well, it just doesn't work for our approach. So we do not just add proofs to our honors courses. So what do we do that is special and unique to an honors curriculum? What we do here is writing. Writing. Many years ago, there was an effort called Writing Across the Curriculum, which was a wonderful goal that all disciplines in the university would emphasize writing so that a student just didn't take English to learn how to write. They took English, physics, biology, sociology, history, and math to learn how to do writing, because each of those subjects has a slightly different approach to writing. An English paper is much different than a science paper. It has a different format, it has a different approach, and it has a different goal. Mathematics writing, science writing, is a special, unique element that is a very important skill for modern day scholars, especially students who are going into topics like data science, economics, finance, engineering. The ability to write technical mathematics in a cohesive and coherent way, a cogent way, is a skill that is not talked about in calculus in general, because usually there isn't time, right? Time is the big factor in these courses. You have to get through a certain number of topics and to meet the expectations of that course. So in our honors course, we have a writing curriculum that gets to a term paper that you will complete as a Calculus 1, Calculus 2 student. So how do you do a term paper in calculus? What does that mean? Well, a term paper is something that you're going to do a little bit of research in, Now, research doesn't mean original research. This isn't a master's or a PhD degree. But you may review and look over other sources of information outside of the textbook. But you're already used to doing that. Probably in your courses, you're using Google or the AI chatbots quite extensively to look up information to help you in your courses. So this kind of review and research is a very common thing. So in choosing a topic for your term paper in Honors Calculus, you will work with me to decide on a topic, and it might be in your interest area. Perhaps you're coming in with some background interest. Maybe you have a goal for your degree that you're interested in computer science, or you're interested in data science, or you're interested in economics or finance or business or whatever might be your interest. And we try to find a topic that you can both digest and research well, and then formulate that into a term paper that's probably going to be about 10 to 15 to 20 pages in length. A term paper that demonstrates your ability to take multiple outside sources of information and synthesize that into a cogent and cohesive term paper that then becomes the basis for your demonstration and learning of technical writing. And so you'll work with me to develop that writing, that voice of how to put all of these things together. And believe me, it is not just copy, paste, right? Some people go on to Google, they copy one sentence from here, they copy one sentence from there, they copy a graph from here, a picture from there. That's not a term paper. And that's not going to get you very far down into the scholarly world of writing technical mathematics and technical writing. So we'll be working on how to take multiple sources and how to investigate something. And at Calculus 1 and Calculus 2, you're really only getting started in math. So there's a whole world out there on Google that's way too hard. And so that's another aspect of the term paper project, is to make sure that the sources and the online materials and the textbook materials from other textbooks that you may go look for is appropriate for your level. You're not going to sound like you have a master's degree in Calculus 1. So the topic has to be accessible from that curriculum, and the level of engagement has to be accessible. And if you've ever searched around for mathematics online, you know, like, it can get hard really fast. And that's where instructional expertise comes in, my guidance to say, you know, don't look at this one, look at this, let's take this, let's build these two things together. This is your interest in this topic, let's go further with this. Let's do some things here to bring this paper into a wonderful term paper conclusion to the course. So that's the emphasis in our distance calculus honors courses, is that we are doing a deeper dive, as they say, into the topics. We are not necessarily doing more topics from the next course, but we do more topics within the course boundaries. And the difficulty is the next notch higher, yeah. And we have a writing component to build your writing skills in technical writing. So that sounds interesting to you. To improve yourself as a scholar, I want to encourage you to look over the pages that describe the honors program for distance calculus. You don't have to take all the honors courses. You can just take one of the honors courses or two or whatever you like, and investigate those courses in comparison to our other courses. Now, there are some higher requirements. Your prerequisite courses need to have a grade of B or higher, and they're more challenging courses, a next notch more challenging. Not impossibly hard, but definitely harder. So if you have questions about the honors program, please reach out to me on chat or email. I'm Robert Curtis from Distance Calculus. Thanks for watching.